and that he's done a great job of using his escape techniques and being able to extend the play and make plays off of it. Obviously, we love to see him be able to sit back there when we've had the opportunity where he sits back there. We've got a firm A and B gap with those edge rushers up the field. That the perfect pocket is where he's most dangerous. But I also think that, what we did last week with using his legs a little bit more in the passing game, as well as the run game, is something that can help us.
What are some of those escape techniques you're talking about? Is that just based on where the pressure is coming from?
Yeah, I mean, there's techniques if they're low shoulder guys. I don't know if you saw last week, there was a low shoulder rush guy that came from his backside or blind side. He set him and reversed out and got out the pocket pretty cleanly. When they're up the middle, just a matter of sliding, keeping two hands on the football and pushing up in the pocket. He's done a really good job in the play action pass game where, when you get to the top of your drop and we call a hard hitch, he hard hitches up underneath the outside rush. And it's all about being at that 7-yard, 6-yard area, throwing the ball from that point where he has vision and he has time. So just typical quarterback movement and pocket manipulation techniques that we work on all the time.
We'll go to Varun.
V Money, what's up? Yeah, cool nickname now. You got a cool nickname, V Money.
With those pocket manipulations, have you gotten more comfortable?
You sound weird, Varun.
Sound like you're in Charlie Brown's the cartoon. Wah, 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 wah.
You come back to me.
There you go. You good?
Oh, there you go.
I'm good now. Okay.
Yeah.
With those pocket manipulation techniques, has he gotten better at that this year than last year, or did he improve anything, or is it the same as it always been?
He's always been one of those guys athletically that has been able to extend plays. If you look at him over the last 3-4 years here, we've given up some sacks this year. We haven't, because not just his manipulation, but I think we've done a better job in protection, contrary to PFF. But it's a lot of the technique things. I think he has a lot more comfort level. I also think that Josh has done a good job of calling things to get the ball out of his hands, which doesn't allow the rush to affect the passing game.
And then you talked about Josh. How do you feel, 5 weeks into this, 5 weeks into the season, you talked about him putting his personality into the offense. Where do you see that personality, and what do you feel like the slight differences in the 2023 version of this Maryland team is different from the past editions?
I can't say that there's a lot different. I think the rhythm, I feel like we're a rhythm offense, and when we're in rhythm and, a year ago, maybe we were in a lot of personnel groupings where we had shifts and motions and a lot of the things that slow down your ability to get a play off fast. I mean, our goal is we have a multi-tempo offense where, in the perfect world, when we're in our base tempo, we want the ball snapped, anywhere between 34 and 25 seconds. When we're going fast, we want it above 34. And then if we're in the check with me mode, we don't necessarily have a time frame. And Josh has done a really good job of mixing the tempos. You saw that come into play in the Michigan State game where we had the check with me stuff. You see us when we go fast and we are able to get lined up fast and get it snapped. We just think that, Leah operates better when he's in rhythm, and the best way to get him in rhythm is to let him get to the line and get the next play and get the next play off. The more he stays in rhythm, the better we seem to operate our system. And I think Josh has done a good job of that piece of from his personality standpoint compared to maybe a year ago where there was a lot more shifts, movements, and motions.
When you talk about the check with me stuff, where did you see that in the Michigan State game? And what is that? Where does that show up?
That's the touchdown pass he threw to Octavian. I don't know if you saw when we clap and then we look over. That's called check with me. So that'd be like, you say something, I clap, you look over at me, and I say, no, Varun, I'm not going to tell you everything that's going on. Check with me.
What do Ahmed?
Hey, Coach.
Hey, Ahmed, how you doing, bud?
Doing well, doing well.
Good.
Wanted to see, I know obviously the Big Ten just announced future schedule, so I know obviously the focus is on this weekend, but just kind of wanted to hear what you thought about obviously USC coming to College Park next year, going to Oregon, facing them for the first time, and also just maybe the lack of playing the entire East Division year in, year out.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been a proponent of getting rid of the divisions. You know, from the day I got in this league, I just thought it was a little lopsided and it didn't allow us as a conference to put our best foot forward or have our best teams always represented. You know, because we knocked each other out on certain sides. Obviously, the east side of it has done a good job in terms of winning championships. So I think removing those creates maybe a little more parity in the league, which allows, you know, more opportunities for people to kind of pop up. You know, as far as the new teams in the league, I'm never a big guy when it comes to scheduling. You know, I'm a play who shows up, when they show up, and where they show up. And they don't ask us our opinion. I think, you know, all I want is to make sure we're getting the same treatment that everybody else in our league gets. And just glad to see we didn't have all four of the new teams and 3 trips out west, which kind of has typically been how, you know, the new kids on the block has been treated since we've joined the league.
We'll go back to Taylor.
Some guys like Roman Hemby, Corey Dyches, I know they've been banged up a little bit the past couple of weeks, but what's it going to kind of take to get them going Saturday after a few quiet weeks from them?
A lot more treatment, get them healthy. You know, obviously, as I said in the press conference, this game is not going to be about scheme. It's going to be about players making plays. Those guys that you just talked about are guys that we see as playmakers. You know, it's our job to put them in the best position to make them. But this is one of those games where these guys got to go make these plays. And, you know, as coaches, we've got to make sure that our best players are involved. If you want to go do something special, it's usually going to take special players making special plays. And we've got to put them in the best position and then let these guys go play.
Go back to Varun.
Hey, Coach, any of the out west road trips that you're looking forward to in particular?
Not really. Just not really. I mean, it is what it is. I know we're going out there once a year, I think, is the way they set up the scheduling, where every team will end up with at least one trip. I think we get to go to the great Northwest up in the state of Oregon to play the Oregon Ducks and deal with that next year, man. I got a big task at hand this week, so you know, we'll deal with that next year. You know, I'll see you a week before that game, be able to tell you all about it. Heard it's pretty green out there.
Go back to Ahmed.
Hey, Coach, just wanted to ask, I know you had mentioned, obviously, you know, talked about, you know, getting Roman and Antoine going last week against Indiana. You mentioned earlier in the season, you know, Colby McDonald kind of showed traits of, you know, his freshman year. I guess, what do you feel like it kind of takes for him to kind of, you know, become that, you know, consistent third back in the rotation?
He is that third back. He's earned it. He's worked his butt off. You know, he's been a little nicked up the last couple of weeks, which he had a DNP last week due to coming off of somewhat of an injury. But Colby is in the mix. And again, all 3 of those guys are capable. You know, as we've done here, we've recruited and created depth at a lot of the skill positions that we have. And so we're able to play a lot of players and get a lot of players involved. You know, the one issue that kind of came up a week ago is, you know, we only got 60 plays. Our goal is to try to get 80. And when we lose those 20 plays, and a lot of it was, you know, we had some short field opportunity. We scored, you know, explosive plays. We scored really fast, which didn't allow us to sustain drives. And, you know, when that happens, now all of a sudden your best players don't get the opportunities. You know, to lose 20 plays out of what we shoot for a game, it now cuts opportunities for guys like Roman and guys like Colby and guys like Tyrese Chambers. And I think we've just got to be able to play fast this week, try to get back to that 80 play goal of ours, and just make sure that the best players in our program are part of these touches that we try to track.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Everyone
You
good?
good? You good over there, George?
I'm good. I was going scheduled talk.
All right.
Like everybody else did. Reading through all the opponents and everything.
I can barely hear you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I don't know what's going on.
I was going through scheduled. That was my question was about scheduled talk, like everybody else was talking about. So
Got it.
It's a
All
little
right.
bit different having to do all that, going out there in Oregon and all that. So be a nice.
Got it. Well,
All
good, man. Let's have a good day today.